Hello there everybody and welcome to the Train Sim News Show / MHD Q&A 2. Let's not make any more clever comments and just go straight into answering all those questions that I've been asked. So the first question that I have is, what do you think is the best train themed level in a non-train oriented video game? I guess I'd say the one on Megaman 02. The whole concept is that you start at the back of a moving freight train and you have to traverse all the way to the front and defeat the boss there. And to me, it's a really fun level to play on, and I love the music on that level, and I just like the atmosphere, and they even made it so they got a running loop, sound effect loop, of the train wheels, and that's just something, I like that. It's very nice to play on, so I guess I'd say that's my favourite one. What is your favourite train livery? The one that Chiltern Railways uses on their mainline fleet. It's sleek and it's also very discreet as well. It's not showing off like, oh, that one. Next question. What electrical power do you prefer? 25 kilovolt AC or 750 volt DC? Well, I've had most experience in my life with travelling on 750 volt DC trains, so I guess we could say 750 volt DC it is. If Dovetail Games gave me the opportunity to work for them, would I take it? Of course I would, because then I get to know, well, how they work and how they build the routes and stuff, and trains, and I'd ask them many questions. Do you think that tone wanking is against the railway rules? Oh, don't remind me of tone wanking. I used to do it when I was younger, but I don't do it anymore for many reasons. And I don't think any of those reasons are to do with if it's against the railway rules or stuff. I'm not too sure if it is. I suspect it would be, because I think somebody once told me that the action that you're doing is very similar to warning the driver to pull the emergency brake, but I can't be too sure and I can't find the exact comment, so I can't really say if that's the case or not, but I don't do it because I don't care for tones anymore, alright? If I do get one, that's a lucky situation, I guess. I don't care for it. I don't go and film trains to get horns. I go film trains because I like hearing what different trains sound like, and I like seeing trains. It's my hobby. I don't go filming for horns anymore, okay? That's gone in the past. For those of you who don't know what tone wanking is, and I don't blame you for not knowing it, especially if you're not in the United Kingdom, I'll link you to some sources in the descriptions of some very good examples of videos of what not to do if you're a train spotter, or if you want to get into train spotting and train filming and stuff. What is the best thing that you have eaten? I like those chicken goujons that you can get from Waitrose. They're really tasty. Pony or unicorn? Oh, alicorn, of course. I'm kidding. I guess, let's see, what do I know about horses? They have 1.6 litre TDI engines, don't they? No? Close enough. Then a bog standard 1.2 litre horse then. That'll do me. What are your thoughts on the North London line? I've already stated this 101 times. Go back and watch the episode. The playlist is your best friend. Please! What would I like to see in TS 2016 train-wise? Not route-wise, because I'm going to go into more detail about that in a moment. But regards to trains, I've picked 6 trains that I would genuinely use on Train Simulator, and I shall put them up on the screen there in no order of preference. What is my least favourite TOC? Well, that's easy, it's Southwest Trains. For reasons I think I've highlighted before already, you know. We're gonna make a 10-car railway because 12 coaches is too mainstream. I don't think Southwest Trains understand the fact that 10 is less than 12. I mean, how is it fair that the Southwestern Main Line gets 12-car trains in the peak, where it's lucky to get 10-car trains where on the Windsor lines? And I say lucky because those 458 variant 5s have been extremely unreliable. I mean, you got a good chance that it'll actually be a 5-car train rather than a 10-car. It would have been much better if those 458 variant 5s never existed and just stayed as 460s on the Brighton Main Line. What is my favourite kind of pizza? That's easy. Margarita. Just good old plain margarita with no toppings. If I had the time and money to do so, where would be my ideal place to visit? Actually, it would be Lymm Regis and Abbotsbury Swannery, because I like swans, and I went past there when I went to visit Limbury just several years ago, and I really want to go back there because it was just a lovely place to go to the beach, have fish and chips, get the sea breeze, go and look at the Jurassic Coast and do some fossils. Well, I don't hunt for fossils, my sister would, but I really want to go back there again, but I just haven't had the time, and well, you know, also money as well. That's a big issue because it's like 200 miles away from me. Oh dear. Maybe one day I'll get a chance to go there. If I ever decided to consider proposing a route for Train Sim at all, where would it be and perhaps why? Location isn't limited, etc, etc. I really didn't want to use this example because it's a British-based route, but I might as well. With a gun to my head, the Chiltern Main Line. Well, to be honest, I wouldn't even want to say that a bit more than the Chiltern Main Line. In my quote-unquote proposal, I would suggest to include the line to Calvert from Aylesbury, the line to Oxford via the newly reopened Bicester Village and Oxford Parkway Station, the line to Stratford-upon-Avon, both from Hatton and through Whitlock's End, I think? I don't know the area that much. And also continuing on from Snow Hill towards Kidderminster. I think that would offer a huge amount of variation and would be a good route, a good length route, and a lot to do, at least regards to passenger and mainline services. Also, the stock they'd have to include would be 165, 168, all variants obviously, 172, all variants again, and the Class 68 running those Mark III, the newly refurbished Mark III sets. In the extremely unlikely event that they do make this route, I would consider it good, provided obviously it respects the source material, the trains operate and sound like they do. You get the idea. Personally, I'd rather they actually fix this game, but if with a gun to my head, yeah, Chiltern Main Line plus those additions I've stated. Since Stuart K. Reiley motivated me to make my new shows, when exactly did I actually start watching him? What's this? A viewer of mine who knows of the existence of YouTube poop? Impossible! Nah, I'm kidding. But regards to your question, I think I started watching him in late 2012, watching one of his top 10 lists, though I can't remember which one. Then in 2013, it was really when I started becoming an avid viewer of him, tuning into his videos, not just his new show in general, actually. I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact dates or anything, it's not something I really remember. From what I've heard, I think he stopped making his YouTube poop news show. He's leaving YTP in general, actually, if I'm not mistaken. And he's going to change his show into sort of a music-based show where he'll talk about music, and I think that's for the better, really, because YouTube poop is dying in its own right, but it's lived a good life. Nearly, what, 11 years? Dang. But at least he's doing something that he enjoys. There's one thing I need to do, actually, in my spare time. I need to ask him what he thinks of my show, because I don't think he's actually seen it before. I just want to see what his opinion on it is, and I want to see what he thinks of the fact that he's actually inspired somebody else to, not really take its place, but make a show in a sort of similar fashion, I guess. What is your favourite Brittany Ferries ship, and why? What is Brittany Ferries? I've never heard of them, or if I have heard of them, I can't remember. I don't even have much of a, interest in ships anyway. I guess my favourite ship would be, those P&O ferries, the ones that run on the, cross-channel, you know, to Calais and, Dover and back. Because when I went on the Spain trip with my school in 2011, we actually had to go on the ship very early in the morning at about 5 o'clock. Not only did I make a really funny video, at least at the time, called WolfyWard, linked in the description by the way, but also I attempted to walk in a straight line when the sea was really rough, and it's just kind of fun to do, because you walk slowly to the left and slowly to the right. See, I can even do it now because I got technology. Do you think that the Train Simulator series will result in the biggest failure of all time? That's very broad, because I think there are games that have failed even more than Train Simulator. I will at least say that the game will eventually crash and burn once people start voting with their heads, not their wallet. What is the best route that you have seen in Train Simulator? Honestly, I don't have one, okay? Because the only real routes that I drive are the Eye Valley and my own routes, and I'm fine with those two, to be honest. Would I say that the Train Sim community has too much payware? Yes, certainly. And I've said this before, that the business model and the payware community in general benefits really only two kinds of people: stupid rich people and stupidly rich people. Should Dovetail hire more workers to help create content, since there seems to be some sort of rush regards to building content and a lack of quality control, or should they stop pushing out DLC every single week and release their DLC in a different interval, let's say once every 1 to 2 months? Personally, I think the latter would be the better option, just so the developers just get more time. Plus more time for beta testing, hint hint nudge nudge. Do you have any waifus?
But of course.
I've got too many. What is your least favourite American train? All of them. Well, except one, which happens to be. What is my most favourite American train? This one, because it sounds like a Class 68. That's pretty much it. Are you gonna have a compilation of all your Sparta remixes?
No!
Mate, when somebody says they're done with Sparta remixes, good chance is that they're actually done with Sparta remixes, okay? I've had it with them, okay? They're not fun to make. Not to mention, why should I make them again? Just to impress a bunch of kids who are easily impressed by Vegas visuals and crap? On your bike! What's your thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's? I don't care for it. Are you still an anti-brony? No, of course not. I'm actually neutral on the entire situation. The thing is, when I was younger, I was an anti-brony, and I just didn't know how to take criticism, and I was mainly just a mean person. You can see back in my previous videos from, what, 2011, 2012, I think, roughly around that time. I was just mean to anybody who liked My Little Pony, and to be honest, there's no reason to be at this point in time now, to be honest, because it's completely irrelevant. Well, I wouldn't say it's completely irrelevant, but it's nowhere near as oversaturated as it used to be. Like I said, I'm neutral, I'm not a brony, and I'm not an anti-brony at all. I joke around with it with my friends because it's fun to do so. You have previously said that the Class 172s are your favourite sounding train. What sound from them do you like the most? Easy. The engine idling, revving up and revving down. There you go. I'll link you guys some videos of a Class 172 in the description for you. What do you think of the idea of an open world train simulator? You mean like Euro Truck Simulator? Hell yeah, that sounds like a good idea. At first, well, I mean, on paper it doesn't seem that bad. Starting, let's say, in one country and developing up the rail network in said country, and then let's say if we started in the United Kingdom, we then go into the Channel Tunnel, then build across Europe, etc, etc. I mean, it doesn't seem that bad, but I have two major complaints. Firstly, the game will most likely become era-locked and thus be biased towards the modern day. And secondly, how is anybody going to make any modifications? Not just routes, but also trains, because they'll most likely be updated in a more frequent basis, and anytime an update is brought up, I'm assuming it would wipe all the modifications you've made, which will be very annoying. Until those two problems are addressed, then I'm a bit nervous on the game becoming open world, like Euro Truck Simulator. But it's something that I'd at least like to see tried out. How much wood can a woodchucker chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, considering the size of the Bracknell Forest, not much. Did I check out the Mosul route? I can't remember too much apart from the fact that the route lagged like hell. And this was because the developers thought it would be a great idea to put 3D trees in the background, as in on the top of the hills and stuff, instead of 2D trees, because I don't know why they did that. It made the route very unpleasant to drive on. Do you own any other video game consoles? Yeah, I've got quite a few here. We have an Xbox 360, which we barely use. We have a Nintendo Wii that we barely use. I also have a Nintendo Game Boy Advance. That was the first video game console that I got when I was 7, I think. 8 or 7, I can't remember. But I've had it for a long time, but I barely use it because my hands are way too big for it, so I can't play Zero 2 or Sonic Advance 3 properly. I also had a PS2, which died of dustolitis. But really, apart from that, the only console that I use, excluding my computer for video games, is my Nintendo 3DS XL, which I use to play Pokemon Y and Super Smash Bros. 4. By the way, my friend code is in the description if you want to 1v1 me on Final Destination. And before anybody asks regards to Smash Bros, yes, I main Roy. Hey Daniel, what's your opinion on this? Oh, that's an American steam locomotive, isn't it? Are you a clopper?
No, sir!
Would you consider yourself a furry? I guess I would. Though I'm not one of the stereotypical furries that you may know of. You know, I don't roleplay, I don't have a fursuit. Though I will admit that my likings and fetishes are very out there. Not disgusting, just out there. The less you know, Eugene, the better. Wow, I've answered all the questions already. I wasn't expecting that. No big deal, I filled my 15-minute target, which I put on myself regards to these episodes and stuff. Well, thank you very much for submitting your questions, and thank you very much for watching. Normal service will be resumed on episode 21, and I shall see you guys then. Goodbye.